Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read S6 6023, Buster's Dino Dilemma. Chapter 1. We are here, Buster shouted. The rest of Mr. Rappan's third grade class cheered. They were riding in a school bus, entering Rainbow Rock State Park. The class had come there for a field trip. The park was a great place to hunt the fossils of ancient animals, including dinosaurs. As the bus pulled to a stop, Mr. Rappan stood up. After we exit the bus, he said, "Please line up outside in an orderly fashion." The kids piled out quickly. The word orderly did not seem to be on anyone's mind. The Binky leapt out onto the pavement. He clawed at the air. T-Rex growled. Francine lowered her head at him and stamped the foot. Triceratops roared. Buzz and Arthur stepped around these fierce beasts. "I can't believe we're here," said Buster. "I can't believe you keep saying that," said Arthur. "But I'm excited. I've been counting the hours, the minutes, the second. I can't wait to get started." Buster had become interested in dinosaurs lately. He had read stacks of books from the library and had watched every dinosaur movie from the video store, and today he had come specially prepared. Unlike the others, who were wearing their regular clothes, he had dressed very carefully. "Isn't that hat hot?" Arthur asked. Buster shook his head. "It's not a hat, it's a pitch pith helmet. This is what paleontologists wear. It keeps them cool under the hot desert sun." Arthur looked around. Buster, maybe you haven't noticed, but we are in the desert." Buster shrugged. "But I burn easily, and it's better to be ready for anything. Expect the unexpected, that's my motto." He patted his utility belt. "Which is why we brought along all these tools." "Don't remind me," said Arthur, shifting his heavy backpack. "You'll thank me later. We don't want to be caught unprepared." "Hey, where did we put the chisels?" "I've got them," said Arthur. "What about the field guys?" "Got those too." "Ooh, I hope we didn't forget." "Don't worry," said Arthur, patting his side pocket. "I have the brushes right here." Mr. Rapon called for everyone's attention. "Excuse me, children. If you could please quiet down." Some of the class turned toward him, but a few of the kids continued growling at one another. "Quiet," Mr. Rapon shouted. The growling stopped. "Thank you," Mr. Rapon said calmly. "As you know, we have come to the park today to learn more about dinosaurs and the evidence of their existence long ago." He stared for a moment at Binky and Francine. "All dinosaurs and students need to be on their best behavior. Is that clear?" Francine nodded. Binky just looked at the ground. "Excellent," said Mr. Rappan. "Now follow me and we'll get started." Chapter 2. Mr. Rappan led the way to the entrance into a small museum. In the first room, there were some glass cases displaying bones and rocks. Along one wall was a diorama showing a Brachiosaurus and a Hadrosaurus eating in a swamp. "I would get tired of eating nothing but salad all day," said Francine. Murphy agreed. "Even with the finest imported dressing, it would get pretty boring." Mr. Rappan had approached the park ranger, who appeared to be waiting for him. They shook hands and exchanged "Hello, class, this is Ranger Ruth," Mr. Rappan announced. "She's going to tell us a few things about fossils before we go out and explore for ourselves." Ranger Ruth smiled sweetly at the class. "Hi, kids. Gosh, don't you look like a small bunch of boys and girls? Can any of you tell me what a fossil is?" A few kids rolled their eyes. Buster raised his hand. "Oh, good, a volunteer. Now don't be shy. What do you think a fossil is?" Buster took a deep breath. "Fossils are the calcified remains of ancient organisms. Minerals seep into these organism tissues and harden, preserving their original forms." Well, well, well," Ranger Ruth looked stunned. Count on me to pick out the class genius. Moving right along, we have a little show for you to see. Lights? As the lights dimmed in the room, spotlights shined on the dinosaur diorama. Ranger Ruth spoke into a microphone. 100 million years ago, Rainbow Rock State Park looked very different. It was much hotter. There were lots of funds. At that moment, a park ranger dressed as a fun shuffled into view. There were also lots of insects. Ranger Ruth continued. Another ranger dressed as a dragonfly that flapped onto the stage. "You," said the class together, and of course there were dinosaurs. The kids cheered. Two park rangers in a brachiosaurus costume stumbled onto the stage. Eventually the funds and animals died. The fun costume slumped to the floor. The kids giggled. Then the dragonfly collapsed. The brachiosaurus split apart, the front end remaining on the stage, while the back end ran off. Everyone laughed. "Quiet, please," said Mr. Rappan. "Thank you," said Ranger Ruth. Now, usually the bodies would rot away, but once in a while, the hard parts of the body, like shells and bones, would last. The front part of the brachiosaurus unzipped his costume, revealing a brachiosaurus skeleton costume underneath. Much later, this whole area was covered by the sea. Over millions of years, the soil turned to rock, and the bones and shells turned to rock too. The light faded as the sound of crashing waves came over the loudspeakers. Then the sea dried up. And finally, after another 100 million years, we are up to the present. The spotlight was switched on, revealing a giant brachiosaurus skeleton on the far side of the hall. The kids applauded as the lights came back on. Now, who wants to go on a fossil hunt? Chapter 3. The class hiked behind Ranger Ruth through a valley rimmed with high shale cliffs. Everyone was carrying a pail and shovel. "I'm so excited," Buster told Arthur. "Really? I never would have guessed. I can't wait to get my hands on one of those fossils." Buster went on. "I mean, it's the real thing. The actual impression of something that was alive millions of years ago." "Your attention, please," said Ranger Ruth. "Listen up." The class had stopped in front of one of the cliffs. The layers of dirt and rock made of different colors, stripes in the cliff wall. "You see the layers in this rock?" Ranger Ruth continued. "Each layer was formed at a different time. The ones on the bottom are from the beginning of the Cretaceous period, around 135 million years ago." "Wow," said Blinky. "That was even before TV. Now the top layers are from about 20 million years later." The ranger continued. "So we can tell how old a fossil is by noting where it was found in the cliff." Murphy looked confused. "How will we get fossils out of the cliff?" she asked. "All we have are these little buckets." "Don't worry," said Ranger Ruth. "The cliffs are for the professional paleontologists. You kids will hunt in the stream." "In the stream?" said Francine. "Great." She rushed into the water and began splashing around. "The water is great," she shouted. "Hey, look, I found the fossil." "Oh, no, wait. It's a rock." "Here's another one." All of the children soon followed in after her. Mr. Rappan walked around, giving words of encouragement. When he reached Art and Buster, he stopped to watch. Buster was bobbing up and down, frantically searching for fossils. "Found anything yet, boys?" "No," they answered together. "Well, we're going to break for a snack now. They will be heading back to the bus." Arthur straightened up. "Well, stretching, I guess that's that. I'm not stopping until the very last minute," said Buster. Arthur looked over at Mr. Rappan and the ranger. They were getting out juice and cookies from an ice chest. "Buster, I see food and drink. I don't care. We can have snacks anytime. There are fossils here." "Are you sure you're feeling okay, Buster? I've never seen you turn down food before." "Yes, I'm okay. I'm more than okay. Come on, then." What do you expect to find in just a few more minutes? You're not gonna just reach in and find something. Arthur reached his hand underwater and pulled up a stone with some markings on it. Buster turned to him angrily, then his expression went blank. When he saw what Arthur had in his hand, Buster, are you okay? Buster began advancing slowly toward him. His hands were outstretched. Arthur backed away. Buster, quit it. You're making me nervous. Arthur dropped the stone. Ah! He dove at the spot where the special stone fell in and began picking up any stone he could find. He glanced at each one, then threw it away. Buster, have you gone nuts? Clutched to his chest. I found it, I found it. Arthur came over to see. Found what? He asked me. Show me. Buster did. The stone showed an imprint with a three prolonged indentation. Oh, wow. It's a leaf fossil. A leaf fossil? What do you mean? A leaf fossil. Have you seen a leaf that big? Buster held it up to the light. He took a deep breath. Arthur, this is a footprint. Chapter 4. As the other kids ate the snack, Buster sat with one hand clenched on his pocket. You want a cookie, Buster? Arthur asked. Buster shook his head. How about some juice? Buster shook his head again. He was too excited to eat or drink. He was having enough trouble just breathing. Imagine he had found the real dinosaur fossil. He could see the newspaper headlines now. Buster Baxter's big break. Paleontologists from around the world would line up just to shake his hand. Ranger Roos brushed a few cookie crumbs off her shirt. I think everyone worked up quite an appetite. While you finish up, let's go around and talk about the fossils we found. Alexander Brain held up a gray rock with grooves spreading from the center. We think this might have been a shell, said the Brain. Ranger Roos took the rock and examined it. Very nice, and not just any shell. It looks like a Emarginola. She placed it in a box. Do you think it'll end up on display? The Brain. We'll see, said the Ranger. A lot of people beside myself were part of that decision. Buster blinked. Wait a minute, he cried. Can we all keep what we found? Ranger Roos shook her head. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe you weren't listening when I explained earlier. We put as many fossils as we can in the museum so everyone can have a chance to see them, and you include proper credit, said the Brain. Absolutely. We always give credit to whoever finds a fossil. She smiled at Buster. Okay? I guess. Buster sat down again. I can't believe it, he muttered to himself. How can they do this to me? Francine held up some rock. Take a look at these. I don't think there are any fossils here, but the rocks are still pretty interesting. Yes, they are. Streaks of mica and quartz, I believe. I think I'll hold on to them for further study. Francine beamed. See that? Murphy further study found important rock. Murphy shrugged. The only really important rocks are the kind in rings and necklaces. Anyone else? A few more kids showed her what they had found. Arthur poked Buster in the side. Stop that, whispered Buster. But, began Arthur. Do you boys have something to add? Did our budding expert find anything he would like to share? Nothing at all. Arthur looked surprised. What do you mean? I thought we... Buster elbowed Arthur in the ribs. It's okay, he told Ranger Roos. Arthur is a little embarrassed because we don't have anything to show you. The Ranger patted Arthur on the back. Don't worry about it, Arthur. As a scientist, we must learn patience. I'm sure you'll find something another time. I guess so. Glancing darkly at Buster. I feel better already. The end.